Evening message on May 15th, 2022. Definitely is not about ordinariness. Are you enabled? My disregarding, true disregarding. Stillness and indifference is not disregarding. True disregarding is not about something attempting to disregard or to non-attach. Nothing is within disregarding. Then it will be true disregarding. With something within disregarding, it will fall into concentration, equanimity, stillness, and single-mindedness. Maintaining as such all the time, always holding on in such state of mind all the time. Samadhi or concentration is still realm of existence. Equanimity is not really non-attachment, is still a realm of existence. True non-attachment is not about something within it, no significance and meanings in it. Where with this essence, then it will purify all the hiding, maintaining states of mind. Whenever you form up to use the body-mind, this kind of maintaining state will just expose itself. How do you use knowing? How do you use the mind to not be suffer with it? The conclusion has been made and given already. It's not about anything within disregarding. Will purify the stillness, ordinariness, indifference, all this kind of attempt, all types of attempting to be in enjoyment. This is all about the overlaying of the attempting to dwell within the attributes of the mind. Attempting to dwell within the mind, overlaying the mind until it's impossible to cut through the knowing. Therefore, that which is uninvolved is not about anything within itself. Then it will be truly uninvolved. Attempting to uninvolve is a kind of the path of deluded viewpoint. The path with deluded viewpoints. Nothing is within the uninvolved, then it will be truly uninvolved. This will purify everything, all the attempt to dwell within state of mind, state of Dharma attainment, or any state of knowing and seeing, or the dwelling within ordinariness, dwelling within movements, within the anicca, all types of attempting to dwell, that overlaying, will be all purified, child. Disregarding is not about anything within itself, then it will be true disregarding. Nothing is within the non-attachment, it will be true non-attachment. Don't hide within stillness or indifference. That will make you slow. You'll be falling behind. Falling behind means that you need to refine the essence of the enlightenment again, because you are stuck with just sinking in stillness and indifference. That makes you slow. Soon you'll be more fluent whenever you're gonna form up the body and the mind.
จะได้แล้วไปรองรับมาเลย
there will be the foundation of bygone, of the bygone to the bygones. Whenever you just listen a little bit, hearing the essence a tiny bit, that's it. You got already the foundation of the essence from the past. It will be immediate realizing. The important thing is samsara within and without, karmic habits within and without. Karmic habits within is the karmic habits within the senses, the sense organs, which needs to rely on movements to purify for samsara more often. What are these karmic habits or within the senses? Is the attempt to dwell within oneself. Actually, this is all about senses. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind. They're attempting to dwell within themselves. These gradually accumulating until it becomes karmic habits of the desire, delusion and delusive attachment added within the senses, sense organs. This is not by purifying, by refraining from something. That's going to be deadly fighting towards one another within all these senses. It's only through purifying, through blessing. The purification within will happen on its own. If not diligently make a conclusion to help samsara or blessing, the internal will be just dull. A lot will be left over in there. Let alone being the Arahants already. Whenever forming up the body and mind to bless beings again, they have to purify the past karmic habits which already remain within body and mind since the past. Already said, it's a lot of that. Therefore, diligently make a conclusion for samsara onwards. Diligently form up to bless, diligently share compassion and great compassion. Then the internal will be purified automatically. The giving is beyond refraining or letting go, whether it is by giving the extinction. Each sentence that has been made for samsara in a conclusion, the anupap or the mighty force is beyond the letting go or the refraining. The result of the blessing of purifying will purify oneself within oneself, and blessing result will purify the blessing itself. The more of helping samsara to purify, samsara will end accordingly. That will result, that return to the blessers. The power of unobstruction will be immensely. Immediately, the more blessing, the more power there will be. Therefore, will to bless, enable to bless. Otherwise, one will just feel no encouragement because there's just confrontation. Bless through the essence of Nirodha and Nibbana, not just confronting. Disregard, even from the disregard itself, all the same. This is the essential code of Nirodha, not confrontation. Blessing through the essential code of Nirodha and Nibbana. Therefore, there will not be no encouragement. You will not eat the boredom fruit. Have you heard of this fruit? This kind of fruit is called mabua. Mabua is a Thai word that actually หลวงพ่อ made it up. It's a kind of people like it. It's boredom. Deva also like it. If you don't know how to bless, there is just confrontation, and that will be Vedana and hindrances that follows. Therefore, you become bored. You become having no encouragement. So, the essential code of Nibbana has been given to us already enough. It can be used for eons of time to help samsara throughout samsara's time. Don't use confrontation. Already said, don't use the mind towards all things. That which has nothing to do with the mind, that which is not about the uninvolved. It will help through unwinding and releasing, purifying through the emptiness altogether. It's not about confronting. This is not about going through fire and water, like attacking through samsara, not using the mind in this way, on that way. Be amidst all and everything in the way that is not like being in the middle of anything. That is gonna be being surrounded at all times. Therefore, well to disregard. Otherwise, it will fall into stillness and indifference. That is not true disregarding. That is the hidden state. That's not the way, something within disregarding. Falling in stillness, indifference, or equanimity, thinking that is right. That is disregarding, that is non-attachment. No, it is not. Nothing is within the non-attachment itself. Nothing is within the non-attachment, all the same to everything. Whether it's higher realm, low realm, or medium realm, purify all realms, all levels. Go ahead. That which has nothing within disregarding to be given absolutely. That is disregarding, that doesn't grasp itself, that is not itself. This will purify all about will, all the projecting, determining of the mind. This is the will of karma, which overlaying all the sense organs until it become karmic habits. All such a will that overlaying on top of eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. It's the karmic habits. The determining, projecting of the mind is karma. In other words, is the intentions, intentional karma. Whether it's the will that is set up within oneself or all things is called intentional karma. The formed up without purification, it becomes karmic difficulties that is left over. Therefore, all the conclusion that has been made, it will purify the present and the past. throughout the past.
เห็นไหมว่ากรรมบางสิ่งกรรม
Karma.
บางอย่างเนี่ยชาติปัจจุบันยังให้ผลไม่ทัน
Some kind of karma still not yet giving result, but it will give result later on in the next few lifetimes. There are a lot that queue up.
กรรมบางสิ่งบางอย่างนี่
Some types of karma
ชาติยังให้ผลไม่ทันเลยลูกยังไม่มาเลย
is not yet even giving result.
ไปมาชาติที่สี่ชาติที่ห้าก็มี
It will be sometimes the next 5th lifetimes or even the 10th lifetimes, for example. So there are immense karma that is queued up.
เวทนามีกลิ่นอาย
There are also this kind of
เวทนา
the smells or the sense, fragrant sense of the Vedana, not yet full form of karmic retribution.
แต่ละชาติแต่ละชาติ
Therefore, each lifetime
กรรมฤาษีหรือว่ากรรมฤาษีที่มันกลายเป็นกรรมวิบากไปแล้วเนี่ยมันจะทยอย
there are the karmic difficulties which will turn into karmic retributions, which will result at each time, in each lifetime.
ให้ผลพร้อมกัน
It doesn't mean that they will
เช่นนั้นไม่
give result all at once. It doesn't work like that.
กรรมของฤาษี
Each lifetime,
ให้ผลเนี่ย
the karmic result and karmic habits will give result a little bit only
ของชาตินั้น
for each lifetime.
ๆบางคนอาจจะคิดว่าโอ้ยทำไม
Some
ชาติ
people
เนี่ย
think
มากจัง
why this lifetime there's so much heavy karma,
มีคนที่คิดแบบเรา
heavy suffering. There are a lot who think in this way.
แต่รู้ไหมไอ้คิดแบบเราหรือว่าคิดแบบเขาที่คล้ายๆกันก็ตามทีมันเป็นเพียงแค่ส่วนน้อยๆเท่านั้นเอง
You know, this is
ชาตินั้น
the thought that is in the same
เขา
way.
ไม่อาจจะรู้ไงกลไกแห่งกรรมแห่งวิบาก
They don't know
ที่
that
มันเข้าคิวกันให้
the mechanism or the cycle of karma, karmic retributions, which will be fated and give result in each lifetime. Which lifetime, how it's going to happen? Which lifetime, how it's going to happen? What type of karma will be fated in each lifetime? One doesn't know.
ดังนั้นเมื่อไม่รู้เนี่ย
Therefore, once
ก็ไม่ใช่ว่าจะให้รู้
one doesn't know, it doesn't mean that one needs to know. Just
ไม่ต้องเสียเวลา
one needs
ไม่
to
ต้องไปเรียนรู้
enable to purify. You need to enable to purify it. Cut through it right away.
ไม่เกี่ยวแม้กระทั่งไม่เกี่ยว
Uninvolved
เอง
even within the
ไม่
uninvolved
ใช่
itself.
ไม่เกี่ยวเองเลย
Nothing is within the uninvolved itself.
การตัดสรู้เลย
Shift through the essence of the enlightenment right away. It doesn't mean that you don't know and you have to learn.
จะไปเสียเวลาอ้อม
There is no need to waste the time to go around with suffering and the karmic difficulties on and on.
เสียเวลาอ้อมค้อมกับมันอยู่ทำไม
No need
วิบาก
to waste the time with that.
ปรับเข้าสู่เนื้อหา
Shift into the
ตัด
essence
สรู้เลย
of the enlightenment. Cut through the knowing. Cutting within the cutting itself right away.
ไม่ก็ไม่ใช่อะไรในไม่เองเลย
Nothing is within the disregard
ไม่
itself.
ใช่ทั้งไม่เอง
Disregard even from the disregard
ไม่ก็
itself.
ไม่ใช่อะไรในไม่เอง
Nothing is within the non-attachment itself. This is not that when they know and you want to know as well.
รู้ไปทำอะไร
Why do you want to know? For what?
รู้ไปตัดสรู้รู้ไป
Knowing
ทำ
that doesn't cut through
อะไร
itself. For what?
รู้ไปให้แบกเหรอ
This is like knowing in order to carry it, to take on the
ตัว
Vedana.
รู้เนี่ยมันเป็นตัวรับ
The knowing itself is the receiver itself as well.
รับ
It's also taking on the Vedana at the same time.
ฉะนั้นไม่ต้องไปอยาก
Therefore, there is no need to have the urge to know further.
สรุปสู่เนื้อหา
Make a conclusion towards the essence of the cutting,
ตัดสรู้
cutting the knowing, the enlightenment.
ไม่กระทั่งไม่
disregard even from the disregard itself altogether with everything.
แล้วมันจะไม่เกี่ยวกับรู้หรือไม่รู้
Then it will have nothing to do with knowing or not knowing automatically. That is the enlightenment. Cut through the knowing.
ไม่ได้มาส่งเสริมให้อยาก
This is not to encourage the urge to know.
ไม่ใช่เห็นเขารู้นะนี่
This is not like you see that they know this and that and you want to know as well. What is it about knowing, huh? Each moment of knowing is also taking on receiving the Vedana and karmic difficulties simultaneously. The knowing without cutting through itself, being deluded to knowing on and on. How can one knows about knowing? The essence of the enlightenment is being already given. Therefore, just cut through accordingly and help samsara to cut through and end accordingly. Good enough that you are not stuck with the yan, the insight and knowing, special insights, that which has nothing to do with being clear or not clear. It will not be stuck with the knowing, the seeing, the insights. We are not teaching the knowing, the seeing, senses, sense organs. This is not to emphasize and aggravate, to be stagnated and in the same old ways. This is the reflection that has nothing to do with senses and sense perceptions. The reflection that has nothing to do towards something that has nothing to do with the uninvolved itself. Then it will enable towards ending. This is not about the teaching to practice the senses and sense perceptions. Coming down here to give ending, to give ending. So don't be obsessed to practice. Disregard, even from the disregard itself, is not about practicing. It's about giving ending immediately, giving ending the delusion to practice itself. And to be given all the same, it has the anupap of purification through the extinction and emptiness, have the anupap of giving ending as well for samsara. This is not about practicing the sense organs. This is not about practicing the body and the mind. That which has nothing to do with the body and the mind. It has nothing to do with the uninvolved, even within the uninvolved itself. It will not become cycle of becoming or realms of existence. It will not become samsara. It will not be circling. Well, with this essence. Even the attempt to disregard is still creating preoccupation in itself. It creates realm of existence in itself. It becomes samsara within itself in the short way, but the effect is long. If unable to purify the attempt to disregard, it will be stuck with the attempt to practice the path and the samutthai within the noble path, attempting to let go, attempting to uninvolve, attempting to disregard. This is the samutthai overlaying the noble path. Even nibbana is not nibbana itself. Why being obsessed to be in the path, on and on. The reflection towards ending is there, then ending will be there accordingly. Even emptiness is not itself. Why being obsessed to practice
มัวแต่สรรสร้างเป็นมัวแต่จะลงเป็นมัวแต่
create, to integrate,
เป็นมัวแต่หลงคอยเกิดคอย
to
ดับ
be deludedly arising and ceasing, to create samsara personally
ส่วนยตนะขึ้นมา
within the body and mind and sense organs. Therefore, all samsara is derived from the practicing of the body and mind. Deludedly practicing the body and mind, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind, all that practice for overpower the elements without purifying them. That's why it becomes samsara. That kind of power through the elements inside and outside of oneself. Nothing is within the non-attachment, then it will be true non-attachment. Then it will not become samsara. Not circling. This is not about the attempt to arise or to cease. That is truly disregarding. True non-attachment is not about attempting to be attached or to be attached. The important point is that attempting to disregard the attributes as such is the samudaya that is arising within disregarding, within non-attachment. Then it's not truly non-attachment. Nothing is within the non-attachment to be given absolutely. This will be true non-attachment, which is not itself, meaningless in itself. Diligently share the essence. Simultaneously share it throughout all and everything. In the way that is not about anything within the non-attachments. Continue with the great compassion onwards. There will be purification throughout, inside and outside simultaneously. There is no need to be exhausted with purifying each one at a time. Diligently purify samsara. Make a conclusion to purify samsara. This will also purify the past. disregard, even from the disregard itself altogether, there is no complication
ไม่
here.
ได้ไปคอยละอะไรนะ
This is not about attempt to letting go of anything. This is not about attempting to let go of anything. Listen well, make a conclusion well. Share the essence, all the same, through the essence of uninvolved, even within the uninvolved itself. It's not about anything within the uninvolved itself. Share this essence, all the same, to everything. Listen well. This is not about attempting to let go or put down anything. The anatta that is not anatta as it is. The anatta is not about anything within itself as it is. You know, the attempting to let go and it enable itself to make it work. It's like planting the boredom tree, attempting to let go until it becomes exhausting. Attempting to let go is not the letting go, because it doesn't let go of the let go itself. This is the reaction of the samudaya. Uninvolved is not about anything within itself, child. This is not about attempting to uninvolve. Disregarding is not about anything within itself. This is not about something trying to disregard. Because that is the overlaying of the grasping mind. It will become pressuring when one trying to make it work. All the Vedana will happen, uptightening inside and outside, stress. It's not about grasping. It's not about grasping as it is. Therefore, there is nothing that has to be continued in whatever ways. It's not about anything within yes and no. Even disregard is not about anything within itself. It's not about continuation. It's not about making something continuously. That's not the way. It's not about anything and anything already as it is. This will not be engrossed with falling forward, attempting to make it work, attempting to do this and that. This is the samudaya overlaying. Nothing is within the non-attachment itself. That's it, it's done. It's not about anything within the non-attachment itself. That's all. It will be without flaw naturally. Let it be all the same to everything. Simultaneously within and without, all the same. It will turn into purification of extinction and emptiness automatically. When one still feel that there is uptightness within because the opening is not yet fully. The opening that doesn't grasp itself to be obsessed, to reserve the senses, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind, still retained them. Therefore, the state of uptightness is still there. So open up furthermore beyond the opening, without grasping itself, actually. Disregarding is not about anything within itself. Open up fully. Once one dilutively practicing for attainment, it turned into realm of existence. From that which is not realm of existence, that which is not samsara turned into become samsara immediately. This is samsara of causes and effects, samsara of the causes of karma, from the result of karma, from the result of the causes. Later on, the essence will be shared in balance throughout everything, without discrimination of any realms of existence. It's not about anything within the uninvolved itself or the disregarding itself. Nothing is within know itself. This will give ending to the delusion to practice totally, whether the so-called worldly or Dharma. Definitely, it's not about stillness or indifference. It's not about anything within yes or no. Nothing is within yes or no, child. This has nothing to do with being still or not, indifferent or not, definitely not. Knowing beforehand is a difficulty in itself, because there is no cutting through itself. If you use knowing, like foresee when you're going to be formed up with the body and mind, you will eat the boredom. each lifetime
สู่การกำเนิด
before
เกิดก่อน
forming up to be
รู้ก่อ
born,
น
knowing first what's going to happen.
ตอนนั้นจะเจออะไรตอนนู้นจะเจออะไร
When are you going to
ตอนนั้นจะเจออะไร
confront, to meet?
ดันไม่รู้ก่อนเดี๋ยวมันก็เลยกินลูกมาเบื่อ
You're gonna eat boredom
พอโผล่
right there and
เบื่
then.
อออกมาเลย
You're gonna be born with boredom.
พอโผล่จากคันมารดามันก็เบื่อออกมาเลยหัวซุกหัวซุนเลยปฏิเสธนี่ปฏิเสธนั่น
You will reject this and that, running away from this and that.
ตัวรู้เนี่ย
The knowing, the knower itself is
ผลิตเวทนา
terrible thing.
หันหวนนะ
It's always shifting and changing.
แทนที่จะเนื้อหา
Vedana and
รู้ไป
Nivon
เลย
hindrances
รู้
will
ก่อน
always there instead of cutting through the knowing.
จากอะไรแล้วมาจากตัวอยากรู้
Where is it from?
สมุทัยเนี่ย
It's from the urge to know. Samutai in the knowing for eons of times of the form up.
ไม่ได้อยากรู้ไม่ได้อยากรู้ไปโดนสิ
Not wanting to know, not wanting to know is hitting right there.
โดนรู้ทำพิษเลย
You'll be hit by the poison of knowing. Troubling by knowing. Therefore, it's not about anything with the non-attachment more often. Nothing is within the disregarding more often. The uninvolved as well. Nothing is within the uninvolved itself constantly. It will purify the personhood who is involved or uninvolved. It will also purify the personhood who is disregarding or not. This is all about samutai. No matter how many Buddha eras there are, how many Buddhas there are, they only give the essence of the enlightenment. There is no aggravation for the delusion in knowing at all. There is only giving the enlightenment, cutting the deluded knowing only, ending the knowing only. Whenever there is engrossed with knowing or not knowing, there is no enlightenment. There is only just attachment within knowing or not knowing. There is always suffering and Vedana, on and on.
ที่ไม่ใช่ไหม้เต็มที่เลยพร้อมอินทรีย์ที่
Share the essence of that which is not the disregarding fully, simultaneously with the senses. Don't retain the senses, the sense organs, because it's gonna be retaining the suffering. To carry the senses, retaining them will be like entrapment of suffering. For what doing that? Why retaining the suffering? For what? Disregard immediately. The disregard is not about anything within itself. Why maintaining? Everything is anicca and dukkha. To maintain anything is like maintaining the suffering, maintaining that which is not about maintaining. Disregard right away. The disregarded is not about anything within itself. Nothing is within the disregard itself. It's not the non-attachment itself, nothing within the non-attachment. The non-attachment is not itself. Continue as such. Make a conclusion to help unwinding for samsara. Continue to purify through the extinction and emptiness for samsara. When there is a conclusion, the purification will happen automatically. Later on, whenever anything a tiny bit is arising, the mind will not be concerned with it. It will not create samsara with it. No is not about anything within no itself. Until it's not about anything within yes and no, all the same to everything. Until it's not about anything within non-attachment or attachment, all the same. Open up fully. The opening up that is not about anything in itself. Opening without grasping itself. Open up fully. Opening up in the way that is not about anything within the opening itself. Fully opening, then it will be without traces. This is the purification of the emptiness actually.
ตอนนี้มันอยู่ตรงที่เราต้องเปิดให้มันเต็มที่หน่อย
Right now, just open up
เป็น
fully
แบบไม่ใช่อะไรในเปิดเลย
in the way that is not about anything in itself.
มันกำลังล้างสมุทัยคือตัวเขาอยู่นะ
This is the ongoing purification of the samutai, which is the attempt to dwell.
สมุทัยตัวเขาอยู่ของ
Everyone is
สังสวัฏในสังสวัฏ
doing
น
that,
อก
purifying samsara within and without. Constantly share the essence of nothing within the disregarding, with everything all the same. This will purify all and everything.